Okay, so welcome to day 2 of our final project, right? So were you guys able to finish the main menu method from yesterday?
Yeah, on my side, I tried to use the break statement. I tried to introduce the if statement and the break statement, but I got a lot of errors, so I gave up.
Yeah, what's important is trying. If you try and fail, it's better than not trying at all. So that's how you get to learn. Try, fail, and then find the solution, right? So let's move on to day 2 of our final project, right? So our student manager hears that load students, save students, and add student, and then view students. What methods, right? Right. So we want to add another method called update student, right? So with the update student, uh, we are supposed to update a student's what information, right? So the update student method is the trickiest one because it has to do three things, right? The first thing is that it is supposed to find the student, right, and then ask what is changing. And the third thing is it is supposed to recalculate their grade if their marks change. So number one is find the student, number two, ask what is changing, and number three is to recalculate their grade if their marks are changing, right? So here on top of the main menu method, we're going to create another function called update student, right? So we need to get what the student's name, right? Right? Enter student the student's name, right? Dot strip dot title.
Just joined us.
Can you repeat that, Mr. Ajanga?
Sorry, I was saying Mr. Dupes just joined us. Maybe you can just update him.
Oh, okay. So
It's alright. No, it's alright because you started the update student, right?
yes, update student creating the new method for our project.
It's okay. I'm following.
Fully. Okay. So first we need to get the student's name, right? Then we need to loop over our students using what, the for loop. So it's for student in self dot students. So remember that dot students, that's where our students are, right? That's the dictionary with our students, right? So if student name, right, is equal to the name inputted by the user, right, we're going to print something, right? So we're going to say leave blank to keep the current value, right? And then we are going to get the student's age, enter the student enter the student's age, right? All right, the student's new age, right? Okay, then the course enter the student's new course, right? Okay, no, it's actually here with this if statement, we need to make sure that we remove all of the blank spaces, right? So I'm going to say if course, right, student, okay, student course, right, equals to course dot strip dot title, right? And then let me do the same with age. Let's remove the int there and say if age, right, student age equals to int age. So we're now converting the student's age into an integer, right? So any question, are we all still together? Any questions?
No, I thought actually you're going to. I thought you were writing the code and maybe you're going to explain it after writing it, like how you always do it.
Okay, then that's fine. Also, okay, let's say dot strip to make sure that there are no blank spaces. Do you all still remember this from yesterday? This block of code with marks for I in range, mark equals int, input, what. Do you all still remember this? Do- Remember that even Mr. Changa asked about this for I in range 3. Do you all still remember it from yesterday's lesson? Okay.
Me too.
It's the same as this one. Do you guys see the similarities? It's actually the same code.
Yeah, except for line 132 and 133.
Yeah.
Oh, it's now recalculating. For line 133, is it now recalculating the average?
Yes, that's correct. Remember that to update the student, we needed what? 3 requirements. Right? We need to find the student, right? And then ask what is changing. And then recalculate their grade if their marks change. So this is what we are doing, recalculating what? The grade.
Okay, yeah. Are you going to go through like the entire code?
Yes, we are going to
Like,
go through
like
the entire code.
Okay, I was referring to the one which you just wrote.
This one. Yes, we are going to go through the entire code.
Thank you.
If student average is greater than or equal to 70, okay, this to the student grade 8 is equals to B. Well, let me copy this. One. Two. Okay. Right. Okay, this is our method update student, right? Here, when this method runs, we need to get what? The student's name first, right? So when we get the student's name, we then loop in our attribute with here's what students, right? Using this attribute self.students, right? So self.students, it loads what? The students from what? Students.json, right? So we load students from students.json and assign them to this attribute, to this variable called students, right? So here we loop over that attribute, that variable, right? We get each student, right? For every name that we get, we check if the student name, right, is equals to the name that was inputted by the user, right? If the name is the same that was in that the user input, then we're going to, if it's not, if the name is not the same, right? If user inputs a name and the student name is not the same, right? We're going to print this function, student not found, right? So this will execute after our for loop has went over each name in our students file, right? So if it gets the name, the for loop stops, and then it now moves on to this then it moves on to the if statement. If student name equals to name, this is equal to name that the user input, right? Then our for loop is going to stop, right? Then it's now going to execute this what? Print function. If the user doesn't input anything, then they won't update the student. But if they input something, then they are going to be asked to enter the what? The student's new age and the new course. Yes, Mr. Changa.
Sorry about that. The part where you said, if the user enters an invalid name or a name that does not exist in our student.json, it's going to print student not found. Is going to print student not found.
Yes.
So where is that? So where is that? I understand print function student not found. I saw it, but where is that stated? Before the print function actually executes, which line of code actually checks if the student name is not found? Like before it prints that the student name is not found. I don't know if my question is clear.
So it's line 112. This one for student in self.students is going to loop over our students.json and get each and every student. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yes. Remember that these are self.students. This is a variable, an attribute.
Yeah.
From
I
here.
got that part.
So you get it. So this code is going to loop over our JSON file, right? If it doesn't find any student matching this name, the name that the user input, then it's going to print this, right? But if a name matches, right, then this is when this block of code is going to execute.
Okay, so these lines are very important, is it? The vertical lines.
Yes, they're very important.
Okay, but in PyCharm, do they exist? I have never seen them in PyCharm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they exist in PyCharm or not, but I know that in VS Code they do exist.
Is it possible that I can download this VS Code and maybe import my files? I don't know.
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, I will think about that maybe tomorrow, from tomorrow going onwards. Okay, you can proceed.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So here we loop over each student. If we get a student, a matching student, then this block of code is going to execute, ask the user to enter the new age and the new course, right? If the user did enter a course, we're going to make sure that we remove all of the white blank spaces and make it a title, right? If the user entered an age, then we're going to make sure that the age is what? An integer, right? Here, and then this on line 124, we have what our variable update marks equals to input update marks yes or no. If the user says yes, then line 126 no. If the user says yes, then line 127 is going to execute, right? If the user says no, right, then it's just going to save the student, right, and then print student updated successfully. So in a case whereby the user says yes, Mr. Adobes.
Okay. I'm noticing here that this indented line from if updated marks is equals yes, it's printing. There's no else for. Is this an else? Did you skip an else or what?
No,
I'm a bit confused there.
or this if statement.
Yeah, like why is there an if statement and another if statement? It's a bit confusing.
Okay, so if the user inputs yes, right, so then this
Yeah.
block of code is now going to run. So all of this is under this if statement,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Right. So this if statement and this if statement, they're two different things,
All right.
right? So for this if statement, elif else statements, for in order for them to execute, then this if statement must be true.
Okay.
And then this if statement on line 126, it doesn't have an elif or else statement, right? So if for example, if update marks is equal to no, then it's going to jump to line 146. There's no else statement.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why there's no else statement.
So sometimes it's not a must to add an else statement. It all depends on what you are working on.
It's okay. It's okay. But is it the same as saying else, or since we didn't put the
Yes,
okay, what if we put an else? It still works the same.
yes, for example, here I can say an else statement and then just say print saving students. So if the answer is equals to no, then it's just going to print this and then it runs line 148.
Okay, I didn't know there's such a rule. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Janga, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm with Mr. Droops. We didn't know about that.
Oh, okay.
You never shared about the alternative of not writing the what do you call this, the else statement. So I was also wondering how did we jump? I think I asked a similar question. Say how did we jump from if the condition is no, how did we jump from line 126 to line 146? But now that you have said you can can run, or we have got an option to write the else. It can run.
So when you create projects, right, that's when you are going to learn most things. So during our lessons, we're just learning the basic syntax. But when you now create projects, that's when you're going to learn new things of how to do things. Right? So when you create projects, that's when you discover new things on how you can do certain functions and how you can do certain loops. Right? So that's the great thing about programming. You can learn something today and then tomorrow discover a new way of doing that thing. Not saying that what you learned, you're not supposed to use it anymore. Just that you have now discovered a new way that you might actually think that, okay, so this way is actually better, or it's shorter than what I used to do before. Right. So can we continue, or anyone or someone has a question? Okay.
No, we can continue. That was a mistake.
Oh, okay. So if the user says yes, right, we're now going to start adding the marks again for that particular student using what the range. It's going to enter the mark for mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, and then enter and then append our marks list with the new marks, right? So here we're going to take our student dictionary and access the marks key, right? And then the new variable, and then the new value of our marks key is going to be marks, right? Same goes for student average, right? So this will be the new average of that particular student. So here we then take the new average and then check if the average is greater or equals to 80, then the new student grade is A, B, C, D, and so on. Right? Do you all still remember this from yesterday? Do you all still remember this from yesterday? Adding a student and then adding the average. Oh, okay, great. So this is what our update student method. So any questions about the update student method? Yes, Mr. Tubes.
Okay, in our code, are we? There might be some errors. Are we doing the errors in this code or not? I don't know. Like maybe, for example, even here when maybe the student they update and maybe they put a negative when they input the new mark for the student. Can we not put maybe like a code for error or
for error handling? No.
Error handling, yes.
In this project, we didn't include that. So
Okay.
now that you notice that something is missing in case a student in case someone enters the wrong values, you can try and add error handling on your own.
Okay.
Just to test yourself and see how you understand it. Because on Friday we are still going to go back to this project. So which means you guys will have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to play around with it, test it, and write any questions or not you're not understanding, so that we can take a look at it on our final Q&A for month 1.
That's all right. Thank you.
Okay, Okay. Yes, Mr. Changa.
Okay, my question is, I understand the what do you call this? The update student function is similar to the add student function. What is the main difference in terms of syntax? Maybe if I'm wrong, again, I stand for guidance. But I understand for the most part, they are similar, is it?
Yes, that's similar. So the difference is that you are not adding a student. You are just updating a student that already exists. That's why here we are using what are a dictionary. Student max, student average equals to, because the student already exists. They already have max, and then average before.
Okay.
So this is just the difference, this syntax that we are now using what a dictionary, and before we can update the student we need to check if that student actually exists.
Otherwise, besides that, everything else is the same.
Yes, everything else is the same.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Toops.
Okay. So I don't know if you understand my question, but since like what Janga was saying that these codes are almost the same, is it possible for us to create, at one time we did those things where I don't know if they were called functions or what, that we do on the side, that whenever we want to call that function, we just input it here on the main code that we are writing. Was it possible maybe to do this, maybe for the adding student and updating student, so that we don't necessarily need to repeat much of the code that we did here? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. Yes, it's
Okay, like
possible.
since
It is possible, but it's going to be just a long process, because what you are actually repeating is just getting the age, course, the name, and this part of code on. So it's like what, it's just 7 lines. So creating a function just for 7 lines is you can do it, but yeah, just making code long.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
For guidance sake, what that lesson we did, what is it called again for doing this thing, like making these functions on the side?
It was called functions. Yes, I think the YouTube cover it's
Functions.
written
Okay.
functions, Python functions.
Functions. Okay. Sorry. I know. Sorry. Thank you.
All right. So since we have now created what our new method update student, so we also need another method of just searching for a student, right? So we can add students, update students. So we also want to be able to what, to search for a student. So I'm going to create another method, right, called search student, right? So I'm going to get what, the name, enter student name, right, dot strip dot title, right? Then we're just going to create a variable called found equals to false, right? Just to indicate that so far we haven't found the student, right? Then we now loop for student in self dot students, right? So if student name is equal to name, right, then we're going to print the student information. Right. Let me just copy this part. Oh, okay. We already wrote it yesterday, so I can just copy it. Yes. Right. Yes, Mr. Achanga.
Sorry,
Mr.
Mr. Kumalo, I left when you were, yeah, when you had started creating because of network issues, the search student, yeah. I don't know if you had explained the whole syntax for the search student method.
No, I didn't explain it.
It's okay, thank you.
Okay. So here we have what our search student function. Right. So what it does, when we run this method, we input the name of the student, right, and then declare a variable that the student, so far we haven't found the student, so it's false, right? So after declaring this variable, then our for loop is going to run for student in self.students, right? It takes that student and runs this if statement, right? If the student name is not equal to our name, okay, the if statement doesn't then the if statement doesn't execute, the for loop keeps on for loop keeps on running until we get that particular student, right? If you find the student name, then we're going to print the student data, and then we then set our variable found to true, right? In case whereby in our students.json the student doesn't exist, so our found equals to false, right? It's going to stay false. Then after our for loop loops through every student and loops through every student and doesn't find that particular student, is going to print what? Student not found, right? So here we use that found equals to false, right? Found equals to true. If not found, print student not found, right? So you can also try and use an else, you can also use an else block, right? If the student is not found, print this. But now with this if statement, if you use an else block, that means that the student equals to name, right? No, the student is not the name. Then it's going to print our else, and then it's going to run our else block, student not found. Then run our for loop again, student not found, until it gets the student. So that's why we didn't include that in else block. We used this way of saying student found equals to false. I don't know if I was able to explain it clearly. Yes, Mr. Ajanga.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kumal, if you could just repeat that part from where we requested the user 22 to enter their student name going downwards. I would appreciate.
Okay, so the user inputs, then enters the name, right? Then this block executes line 113 found equals to false, right? So then our for loop execute each name that we get, right? We are going to run this if statement. If the name is not equals to our name, then the for loop is going to run again. If the student name is equals to our name, then this block of code is going to execute, right? When it executes, it's going to set this variable from false to true, right? If the variable is true, right, line 125 and line 126, they're not going to execute, right? But if we loop through our students.json and don't find the particular student, so our variable found is going to stay as false, right? So since it's going to stay as false, then line 125 and line 126, they are going to run. Do you now understand it?
Let me go through it in the morning. If I don't understand it, I'll bring it up. But I haven't understood it. But for the sake of time, let's just proceed. I'm failing to understand the part where you said line 130 when you said found is goes to false. Then you said it's going to run if it's going to run if not found. Yeah. I'm failing to understand. It's okay. Maybe Mr. Toops can come in.
Okay.
Yeah, me also. I wanted to ask that, like, what if we do not put that found and just? I'm also having the same issue.
Okay, so when you guys are going through the code, since we have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Before Friday, our lesson, try and remove this found and use an else block and see the difference between the two. Okay, it's the best way for you guys to be able to see what's the difference, how these are found. How found makes a lot of difference in this situation instead of using an else block. Right.
So if not, is it a keyword on line 126?
Oh yes, if not is a
Those are
keyword.
keywords.
Yes, those are keywords.
Okay, they are recognized by Python.
Yes.
Then they mean something.
Yes, that's correct.
So in other words, you are saying if not the variable that we declared on 113, then print student not found.
That's correct.
Okay. Now I think I'm getting it. Yeah. As you said, maybe we are going to learn new things as we are doing the project. Because if not, I don't know if we discussed about it in our previous lectures.
No, we never discussed about if not.
Now it makes sense.
No, okay. So try and run the code and see what happens. Remove this if not found, use an else block, and then see what actually happens. Right. So then we have one last method, right, to delete a student, right? We're going to call it delete student, right? So we get what the student's name. Let me copy this. Right. Then we have to loop again for student in self.students. Right. And then we have to check if student name, right, is equal to name, right? So ask the user to confirm, right, print, are you sure that you want to delete name, right? Okay, let's say yes or no. To strip to remove those those blank spaces, and we're going to use dot lower this time, right? So if confirm equals to yes, right, delete the student, right, and then self.save students, dot okay. So on line 138, I want you guys to finish line 138, right? So it's self.students dot something open bracket student, right? So I want you guys to put the method that is missing here. We didn't create the method, but we once talked about it when we talked about file handling. Okay. Okay. We had a question. Any question? Okay. So when you finish this, then you have to remove this print function, right? So I just put this as a reminder for you in case when you run the code, if you see you didn't delete the student, then you know that you are supposed to finish update the delete student method. Right. Okay, so this print statement on line 141, don't delete it, you need to keep it, right? It's part of the code. But the print statement on line 139, it's not part of the code, right? So if the users if confirm, right, and the user says no, we're supposed to tell them that the delete was what, cancelled, right? We just say delete cancelled, right? And then you just return to end what, our delete what method. Now if the student was not found, we're supposed to print student not found, right? So any questions with the delete student method? Any questions? Okay, no questions. Now what's left is for us to finish what, our main menu, right? So our main menu, yesterday we talked about three, yeah, it had three options, right? So today we're adding more options. So we have 4, 5, 6. 3 is going to be search student. 4 is going to be update student. And then 5 is going to be delete student. And then 6 is going to be what, exit. We still keep our variable on line 200, choice equals to input, choose an option, right? If choice equals to 1, remember that this input function is going to ask the user to input what, a choice. So you expect the user to input either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but the difference is that we want what, a string, not an integer. So this is why on line 202 we said if choice is equal to 1, which is a string, not an integer, because of this double quotation marks. Because what, our choice expects what, a string, not what, an integer. If choice is equal to 1, so it's supposed to add a student, so we're going to what, self dot add, okay, all right, self dot add student, right? If choice equals to 2, self dot view students, right? Else print invalid option, right? So right, so this is the end of what, our programs. Here we have 211 lines of code. So as your homework, just to test you guys, right? I want you to finish the delete student method. You are only working on line 138 and then remove line 139. Only one thing is missing here. It's self.students dot something open bracket student, right? And then I want you guys to finish this main menu, the choices. Add all 6 what choices, right? Okay, so let me just add choice number 6. Elif choice equals to 6, right? Break. Mr. Chang, this is how you end out our while loop. If the user's choice is number 6, so number 6 is supposed to exit the system. So if the user chooses number 6, it's supposed to break the system. That's when we use the break keyword.
Okay, I don't know where I done it wrong. Do you remember what I did?
Now the other question is this main menu, right? Besides finishing it here, something else is missing. Remember that it's a method. Something else is missing, right? So I'm not going to tell you guys what's missing, but you need to compare this method and the other methods and find out what is missing. Okay, so any questions? So no questions. We all understood what was supposed to do.
Yeah. Thank you for clearly articulating, like clearly inserting the comments, or which are actually giving us the instructions of what we need to do. Because today, as I was trying to, I realized that you didn't append the questions into, like, the instructions into the code yesterday. Did you do that?
No, I didn't do that.
Yeah, so maybe if you could just make sure that maybe, because if we're going through the code tomorrow, we're going to remember what exactly is it are we supposed to do. I think it is going to motivate us to try and come up with solutions. Thank you.
Okay. So if you want to do more work, add error handling, right? So we didn't add any error handlings, just in case when the user inputs invalid details. So you can also add error handling when you are done with the delete student method and our main menu, right? So any questions? Okay, so no questions. Okay, so that's it for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. sharp. All right, cheers.